Hello. Oh my God, it's so bright. Wait a minute. That's not my camera. Shoot, what happened? Let's see. See, my hands aren't moving. Let's see here. What happened? I just pulled on the cord, but there we go. How are you guys? Let me move all this. Alright, that's gonna be bright for a second. Oh no, it didn't do it. Okay. Go figure. Why? Okay. It is going to be a little bright at first because we're doing the navy blue. Okay. Oh, so bright. Let's cover it up a little bit. Okay. I moved the microphone today, so please tell me if it sounds okay. Alrighty. So how are you guys? So last week we focused a lot on how I want my anorak to fit. And it was a lot of modifications, not because the pattern was wrong, just because I wanted a few things out of it. I wanted the back hip to be a little fuller for me. I wanted to, like, you know, glide across my clothes, whatever I'm wearing. And I focused a lot on the sleeve, and I have still a bit more to say on that. And then I did a few other things because it's going to be a raincoat, right? I removed the pleat on the back because I was a little worried I couldn't really waterproof that because it's just a design feature. There's no function really to that pleat since it can't open up or move or anything, but it is kind of cool looking. What else did I do? I think I just peeled off the sticky note. I added the fullness. Oh, and I modified the fit of the hood for myself, which actually turned out really good. And then, you know that little point on that back curve that was kind of like, that's kind of a warning sign. It was still kind of protruding. So I just shaved that off a little bit and kind of smoothed it out. So I'm pretty excited about how this is going to fit. So I know a lot of you were really interested in the sleeve lift that I did, which actually turned out really good. But I still had some issues with the sleeve fit. So I have a little video. Hey Charlie, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. I still have a few little things, and maybe I actually made a little video just in case I ended up doing like major mods and I wanted to be able to share that. But I don't really think I need to, but I'm going to show you what I did. And these are just because of the way it fits me. So remember, I'm not typically a size 16. But I'm getting softer, you know, like I've gained a few pounds in the last couple of years. And so I used to be like a pretty solid 12, sometimes a 14, depending on how I wanted something to fit. Hey, Allison. Hi, Elena. Nice to see you guys. So just because I'm getting softer doesn't mean like I'm getting, my shoulders didn't get broader. I didn't get taller, right? This is actually such a good example of why you can't just grade up for making expanded sizing, right? Because people aren't getting taller, you know, they're not becoming giants. they're just proportioned differently. So when I measured myself to pick for the Kelly Anorak, I wasn't quite sure if it meant it's going by your body measurements to pick your jacket, and then they added extra ease so that it goes over your clothing, which would be the way you would do it. So I figured that's probably what they wanted. Or are you measuring yourself over what you plan on wearing? Hi, Kristen. How's it going? Oh, nice. Hi, Mullen. How's it going? Kristen, my middle name is Kirsten. So is my sister's because I was 12 and my mom said I could name her middle name, and so I gave her mine. Isn't that so vain? I think you're very vain at that age, though. So what else do I want to say about this? That I want to say so a lot less. And all right. I want to say all right a lot less, especially when I'm recording videos. I can't even edit them out sometimes. I'd like to say that a lot less. Let's see what's left. Okay. So when I added my lift, it actually worked really good. Like, it lifted the you know, arm a lot more without the whole thing moving. And I recorded a little video. I'm going to show you a little snippet of the video. But it wasn't quite right, but it helped me determine what I did want different about the jacket. So let me see. This is going to be kind of awkward to, where's my, I can show you my computer. Of course, the, here, I'm just going to hide this, and this. Okay. And then I'm gonna pull up this video. Okay, here's my awkward little video. Nope, not you. You right here. You're this right here. Okay, so I think you're gonna be able to hear my audio. So I want you to look right here. I think you can see my mouse pointer, right? So I want you to look at the armhole under the arm and inside the garment. Experiment works. This is what I'm doing. So here. That's my new hood. See inside. So can you see right there? See how far that is away from my body? Right. I'm looking for the seam line so you can see.
That's the finished armhole seam to the outside of the garment, like what you see on the outside of the garment. This is the seam line too, and that is this far away from my armhole. So now, typically, you don't make an arm.
So that's my point is that because the sleeve was sitting so far out, that would be okay in some instances, and it's not necessarily that it's wrong or bad. It's that the fact that the sleeve was still really close to my sleeve and my arm and that far away to where it didn't feel very comfortable. Now, I'm really picky about how my sleeve and armhole fits on me, and I think it's because when you're really busty, and I am, it's like this point of fussiness. You're always kind of doing this little thing, you know, and I've always been busty. I've even had a breast reduction when I was a teenager. So it's something I've always struggled with. And I think also my back it's a little full or something. I can't quite figure across the shoulders. I have broad, straight shoulders. My biceps are full. I used to chuck hay in my early 20s, and that set the course for my biceps, where even if they're not toned, they're still big. So there's a lot going on up here for me. It's, you know, so I don't like it when I feel like I have to do this all the time. So what I decided to do, I'm going to draw you a little picture. Oh, Allison, really? Well, I recommend it. And I say, like I said at the beginning of that one video, only cut out, you know, your yoke on your front, your back, and your, and that's it if you want. And then just figure out where that center front line is when it hangs on you. At least do that. That takes a yard and a half of fabric or something. I would just pick some scrap fabric and, yeah, I think it's worth it if you're going to put a lot of effort into it. This jacket, funnily, I'm toning down the brightness right now so you can see my pattern stuff. It does have a lot going on in it, but it's not as complicated as it seems. Hey, Noon, how's it going? Welcome. And I think, like, it looks really complicated because of the hardware. The flaps don't even, you know, they're just decorative, right? That pleat on the back is decorative. So honestly, and the zipper thing, the instructions are actually, I felt, pretty sparse and confusing. So I think, like, hopefully when I go to do it, I'm not like all cavalier and cocky about it and make a big old mistake, because that would be totally my MO. Hopefully I just sew it together and you see, oh God, this is so easy. The zipper thing is so easy. So, right, Allison? Oh yeah, exactly. Right, Allison? Totally. Oh, sorry, I saw the camera move. I have the face camera hooked to this table right now. Anyway, so I think it's worth it, and you don't really have a whole lot of sewing. You know, I'm lining it and waterproofing it. I'm kind of taking it to the nth degree. All right, so let's just pretend like we have our pieces here. This is the Kelly Anorak pieces. Yours will look more like this on the back, and then there's the yoke as well, so you have to change that, right? Now, this is what I ended up doing. I wanted to bring the armhole in toward the body more. And so what I did, I wish these were real pattern pieces, but I don't want to mess with my pattern pieces at all. What I did was I just kind of found a place. Okay, so I drew a perpendicular line from the center front. So we'll pretend like these are perfectly straight, right? I drew a perpendicular line from my center front out, and I kind of just kept it away from the armhole, like, you know, like 2 inches away if you have the space, or 1.5 inches. And I can't really remember what the clearance is right here. Maybe it's less. And you know, same over here, just kind of in a perpendicular line up from there, right? So now I have this little right angle. And I also actually taped these two pieces together. Hopefully I'm remembering how these pieces look. I feel like I've only been dealing with these pieces. All right, so let's overlap it on our seam line. It literally is parallel, I promise. We'll fold this so it's not so distracting. There we go. It was distracting me. All right, so we've folded. Okay, so now our armhole is, what the heck? Oh, okay. I added, what does this look like? Oh, okay. This is what I did wrong. All right, so there we go. All right, so then that's our front, right? And we have it overlapped. So this line right here is actually, it's below the armhole, right? So so now we have our box right here around this armhole. Now I decided that I needed to bring it in about 1 inch. So then I also drew another 1 inch beyond this line right here. This isn't to scale, obviously. And I just picked this up, cut this off, and then I slid this toward the center front, kept it on this line, lined it up on my new 1 inch line, taped it. Am I going too fast right now? I'm just trying to get to the cutting. And some of you are just like, oh my God, I don't want to pattern stuff. So now what I did was I kept the exact same armhole, and I got rid of where it was dropping off of my shoulder line. So I brought it in. Hey, Noon Sky. Oh, that's awesome. Did you do the lined one or the unlined one? Hi, Lou. How's it going? So now I have my armhole the same. Now what happened? So I lost some girth right here at this bust. Now you need to decide, do you still need this right here, or can you lose that amount, right? And if you need it, you're gonna have to add it back in and then add this little bit to your sleeve underarm. And you know, your sleeve pieces, right, are like this. And so you're going to split that. You're going to put that amount on the front side, maybe split it. So if this is the front, 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch there. Make sure you measure on your seam line that it matches. I'm going really fast. I'm really sorry, but hi Melinda, how's it going? So I'm just trying to give you some options. And then I did the exact same thing on the back. You know, I squared off from center front. I kept it well away from the armhole because I wanted the armhole intact. And then, you know, I squared up from this line. I tried to do it about the same as I did on the front, like in the same position. And then I drew a parallel 1 inch line. And same thing, so basically what I did was I made my across back measurement smaller on this garment. So then I moved it over up to that parallel line, kept this in line right here. And then my shoulder, it actually doesn't look like this in real life. It looks like there's a step right here. And so I had to kind of blend this and blend this right here. And then same thing, you got to decide, you know, if you're willing to lose this girth right here at the underarm, or do you want to add it back? So, oh, the lining, yeah. Did I follow the instructions, do you know, or did I just do my own thing? Typically, I back then, I sometimes just kind of didn't even look at the instructions and I would just sew it. Or does it come lined? I don't even remember that. I like that pattern though. Yeah, exactly, Allison. And so I did the exact same thing on the lining pieces, but the lining pieces, the front there's no yoke, right? Oh, yeah. I really can't draw. Clothing is usually my strong suit. So there's this dart, right there. So this is tiny, but you're gonna fold it. You're gonna close your dart. Be trying to be really precise about this. I know it's tricky to close darts on paper, but sometimes I put my finger on where the apex of the dart is, and then I close it so I don't let it fold past that point. All right, and so now once you have your armhole intact, you have this nice smooth curve. Now you're going to do the exact same thing on this, and you're going to be cutting through your dart, straight through it, right? So when you do that and you move your dart and you move it that inch, my apex is actually over here, just so you know. I didn't actually go beyond the apex. And then and it is proportionally okay. You can see there's the jog I got mostly like that kind of thing. So you could add a little bit here. You got to figure it out. What you want to focus on is trying not to change any of the existing seams. Like, try not to change anything with this neckline. And if you can lose this little bit, so mine ended up being about a ½ inch, so that would be an inch on the front, an inch on the back. That's 2 inches. That's a lot. You might want to add that back and blend it in, and then see if that is kind of solves what you're looking for. So let's see, where was I? Okay, right here. So when I cut through this dart right here, I kind of put that point a little bit off. The lines to sew the dart, I mean, right? So then I just kind of smoothed it out. So once I moved it this inch in, I kind of kept the line of the dart leg at the armhole, and then just redrew it to that point. Same here. So then you kept this the same, you kept this the same. You're just kind of truing it up and redrawing those lines. It's such a quick and dirty tutorial. So basically you're just trying to give yourself the least amount of headaches as possible by trying not to change any of the seam lines these things are going to. And just remember, like if you're concerned about like, okay, am I changing the size? Take some measurements before. I would recommend totally doing this on a separate set of pattern pieces too, because you may just get so like down a rabbit hole and kind of bogged down with all their changes that you kind of want to go back to square one and start over. Oh, cool, Noon. That's great. Yeah, I might have. I feel like some of those earlier tutorials, and I don't stick very closely anyway, but I stick closer now because I feel like it's helpful if you can follow along. All right, let me brighten this up again. Let's get sewing or cutting. I would love to get sewing. I would love nothing more than to sew right now. I almost deactivated that camera. If you ever see the dialog box when I click on a camera and I edit or I want to change it, deactivate and configure are the buttons one above the other, and sometimes instead of clicking configure, I click deactivate and I'm like annoying. All right, so there's a lot of pattern pieces today. I made one more change to my pattern, and I trimmed off 1/4 inch of the seam allowances for the 5/8. So you don't have to do this, but you're gonna see me sewing at 3/8 inch seam rather than 5/8. And if you feel so inclined to take on the task of trimming off all your seam allowances to make it a little less, I recommend it if you're doing a lined garment. I just find 5/8 is just a really big seam allowance, especially when you're trying to go around a curve. That hood, that center hood seam, so hood panel to the hood it was really tricky for me. In fact, I ended up questioning it was correct and it was perfect. It was me. So I just realized, okay, I must be slipping on my 5/8 seam, and sure enough, I was. So I trimmed it down to 3/8, and on the neckline, I trimmed everything down to 1/4 of an inch. So I trimmed off 3/8 of an inch on the neckline, just the neckline here, because that's a really tight curve. Anywhere there's curves. And I just felt like I didn't really want 5/8 of an inch seam allowance flopping around. The thing is, if you're not lining it, you don't need to do that because you're going to be finishing your edges, like trimming them with overlocking or zigzagging or flat felling or whatever, French seams. But mine is just lined. So, hey Adina, how's it going? I saw your comment. Yeah, the curve is different on those sleeves, Allison, and that's why I tend to make the changes to the lining and changes to the outer, and because the lining is going to sit in a different spot. So yeah, the hood fit really funny. It was really big, and without adjustments, it's cute. I actually think it's really cute in all the pictures, but I kind of wanted to be able to move around and stuff without, like, I like to be able to turn my head and not look at the inside of my hood. Oh, hello. Your name's Rob, right, John? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. The lined hood facing and the unlined hood facing are totally different lengths. Oh. Oh. Really? I think I got mine okay. You know, what's interesting, Allison, is I confused myself. Did you see in the one of the pattern adjustment video, I did confuse myself on that because I ended up taking out right here. Hey Patty, how's it going? And then I realized it couldn't go all the way to the edge of that pattern because there's a hood facing sewn to it. So, all right, so I didn't trim off my seam allowances on all my zipper pieces, my zipper flap and the waist casing, because they're so long and straight. I'm going to do it off the fabric probably. Oh, Adina. I actually talked a lot about that in the first video I had last week on the draping and stuff, because it wasn't my number one pick to make as a raincoat. I will be honest about that. But, and it's nothing because I just didn't really like the look of it, honestly. But it's really, I don't like the pockets. Other than that, it's fine. You know, I like it. It's pretty basic. And I looked at like the Twig and Tail Forester coat. I looked at the Sarah jacket. I looked at two Merchant and Mills. And I just, first of all, Merchant and Mills, I'm nervous that it would even fit me because I'm busty, and I don't know, I just don't see a whole lot of busty folks wearing their stuff in their pictures. The Sarah jacket wasn't size inclusive, like period. It just was like in a very few sizes, but I loved that jacket. That was my number one pick by Pauline Alice Patterns. But I just saw so few sizes, and I just thought, you know, if someone else wants to be able to make this and follow along, it'd be really nice if it included more people. I almost picked the Forester coat by Twig and Tail because there's a men's version and a women's version, and that was extremely appealing to me. But again, the sizing there wasn't very many sizes offered. I think I was like the second from the top. Just because you see a lot of sizes doesn't mean it's including a lot of people. So, and I didn't look at it once I saw it, I was like, okay, that's it. I actually almost bought it. I almost bought both of those. And then the Merchant and Mills, I just didn't like the styles too. So I knew I was going to be sewing this for Hearts fabric. Oh, that's right. I want to turn on my little like, where's my Hearts thing? Yeah. Yeah. Hearts fabric. They're so nice to us. I knew I was going to be sewing the Kelly Anorak for Hearts fabric, and then I started because the patterns and the hardware were really hard to find, they were getting really delayed. I started worrying that this was going to end up starting kind of late. Like if I started my raincoat, I wouldn't be able to do this till afterward. I didn't want all my streams for the beginning of the year to only be about 2 jackets. And then I also didn't want to spend as much time on sewing 2 complete jackets and only getting to keep 1. Usually I don't care about not keeping the thing because I don't need all the extra clothes. But when it's that much effort, I did have a few things I was interested in making that I needed. So that's why. So it kind of ended up being a win-win. I approached Hearts. I said, hey, totally fine if you don't want to do this, but would you consider, is there a way for me to be able to keep this jacket? And so what am I doing? I'm making the jacket, and then it's going to their store, and it's getting displayed there until like next fall or something. So I won't even get to keep it for a while, but that's fine. I'm going to keep it through this rain season and then probably like touch it up a little bit and then send it to them. So they'll have it all during the time of year where you should be sewing your raincoat. And don't sew it during the rainy season. Sew it in the dry season. So there you go. Yeah, and I don't think that this is as size inclusive as I was giving it credit for. There's, quite a few sizes, but like I said, I just accordion folded all this, but it's just too wide. I need more space. I always accordion fold my fabric like this. Okay. Thankfully, I have the whole sewing process to go because there's so much fuzz and lint on this fabric. I started to worry about it for waterproofing, and then I realized, I still gotta sew it. So, all right, so we're gonna do these guys later. I hate sewing or cutting things like this. Anyone else out there? I hate cutting long, narrow things. All right, so let's put these here so I have more room over here. I know it's pretty dark on the screen. The fabric's really amazing though. It's got all these like rainbow speckles in it, and it's the Essex linen. Can you even see that? Can you see it there? Oh, look at that. Yeah. Hey, Claire, nice to see you. Toasty by Waffle. What's the sizing like that? Lots of cute pockets. Nice. There you go. Maybe try that one, Adina, too. All right. Let's do this. The other thing I didn't draft with you guys was my welt pocket. So I'll show you those pattern pieces. That's pretty much the only sewing modifications I am doing to this are I'm doing a back yoke, not the pleat, and I'm doing welt pockets. I think that's it. Everything else is I'm sewing just like the instructions, the lined version. So. And I picked pretty lightweight fabrics since I'm going to be waxing it with the Auto Wax. Where's all my weights? Oh, here they are. I put a lot of time into this project. Where are all my weights? I need to weight this stuff down. I'm a little worried about my pattern pieces flying around over there. Oh, I shortened it 2 inches finally too. I finally decided to, I don't need 2 of these. I need 1 of these. I traced off a lot of my pieces so that I wouldn't be using theirs. Let's see, what else can I put over here? I can put this here. I got new glasses and now they're slipping off my face and I really hate that. I need 1 of these. I'm kind of staying away from the hem because the hem got so wrinkled that I just really don't want to immortalize those wrinkles. You know what I mean, jelly beans? I got a new blade too. We're just gonna go for it. So what are you guys working on? I have a kind of an announcement later, too. I don't feel like doing it right now. Okay, got all that right. We're good? Okay. So I'm gonna do all my notches. Oh, nice. So that's what I did, Adina. I had a pair so that I can see the sewing machine right here and the computer from that far away. And this is I got my first pair of progressives this year and actually really liked them. So I was like, okay, I definitely want to do that again. All right, so I always do this. I always cut the slit in my pattern piece for this. I don't want to do that. I actually want to just mark where I'm going to want the pocket, but I don't actually really want to mark I don't want to slit it first. I like sewing it from the lining side, and I'll slit the lining, or I'll actually slit all of it together. I'm just going to pin around this pocket and stabilize it so that later on, when I'm in a marking mood, I will mark it for my pocket. So I'm keeping the flap. I'm making the flap over it so it'll still look like the Kelly Anorak. It'll just be a drop-in welt pocket. So yeah, awesome, Allison. That's awesome. Oh, you're finishing the oh, look at all the things you guys added. Oh, goody. Let's see. Your Mont Blanca flight suit. Nice. Oh, Elena, yeah. Kind of working on something like that too. It's so much work. Wait, who's working on you're working on the, the Yanta. I have those, Kristen. Oh, we just have to make the pockets. That's great. Oh, Lou, nice. You're already getting into shorts. Cool. Wait, Lou, you're in New Zealand, aren't you? So you need shorts right now. Yeah. Oh, cool, Glenn. You're over it, though. Yeah. That's not a clean job, is it? Oh, Patty, that's perfect. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome. Nice to see you. I was just asking everybody what they're up to, what they're sewing these days. Let's see. Have I got this pretty secure on here? I like it when I just do this. That way I can trust where it goes, later. Okay. Hopefully I shouldn't have started a little further up on my fabric, right? Oh, that's what I need a bin to put fabric in. I keep filling my bin up. Put a new one there. When I visited New Zealand, it was winter. It was not shorts weather. In fact, we were in Christchurch, and we took that train over the little pass there to the coast, and it snowed. And they kept shutting the train down before we could go. It was pretty cool. It was such a beautiful train ride. I keep picturing this out of waterproof breathable fabric, which is hilarious. It is indeed not that. It will be, but it's not there yet. But that's what's great about doing the wax on a linen, is that it'll still be breathable and comfortable. Would I hike Everest wearing this? Would I hike Everest? No, so. You almost have to do more prep than you would think, because I usually just take all my pattern pieces off, but I'm gonna keep them on just so that it doesn't look like a big jumble in my bin. We don't get to sew a bunch of these to perfect it, right? See how small my facing got when I trimmed off all the seam allowance? It's going to be really small. I'm kind of surprised how small it is. It's not a very wide facing. And this is a facing that gets attached to the lining so that it's self fabric just inside. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we started in the South Island and then we took the train over, then went up to Nelson, and then we went to North Island. Yeah. How many pieces are... Oh, I don't know if I want to know that. There's a lot. You can go make a cup of tea if you like. There's a lot of pieces. So you can see there's my line where I cut and matched my 1 inch right there. Some of these need interfacing. So I'm going to try and keep track of some of those so that I remember to do it. I'll make a separate pile like this one right here. Probably that center front one as well. I'm going to notch the center there. I can't see if there's a notch. There could have been, but since I trimmed off 1/4 inch seam allowance, maybe... Oh, all these get interfacing. This one gets interfacing as well. I may do fusible. I never do fusible. I mean, I don't say never. Okay, so we have our front center back yoke. So now I've been thinking about this. So I made my back. This is one of the 2 modifications I made sewing wise or style wise. Is I made it so that the back just looks like a traditional shirt with like this one, like a yoke at the top and coming down. I didn't add a pleat to the lower back, but you could if you're not waterproofing it, just because I don't really want to deal with a pleat and trying to get the wax in there. And so I just made it just a yoke seam. And so I've been trying to think, like, I don't technically need to line the yoke, but do I want to? Because it's going to be a lined garment. So I actually don't know where I fall on that. You know what I mean? So do I really need to, line the yoke on the inside if the whole jacket is lined? Yeah, they do, Carolyn. These are my favorites, and they're just old irons. Get them at an antique store. And they're heavier than those, and I like that they're kind of short and stumpy. These are really great for those really long pieces. And I like that these have a point, because then you can kind of go into the corner like that. Always find them with the handle. All right, so this is a little too close down there. So maybe I will cut 2 backs because it'd be nice to have that extra structure back there. So one of the things I did not change about this pattern that I kind of wish I would have, I feel like you guys are going to eventually go, stop, is I would have really liked to move the shoulder seam forward like 1 inch. And the reason I would like to do that is, your shoulder seam should usually sit forward of your shoulder, and this one sits perfectly on top. And that right there is such a, what would be better for me to do is to put this on the fold. Put this on the fold so I have no seam there because of waterproofness. Maybe I could still do that. Would you guys allow me to do that? Because then I don't need to worry about the water penetrating that seam, which is a high stress area, On the front yoke, is it really only 1 right and 1 left? So I guess we're not doing... Yeah, the struggle, man. So then I'd only have this seam right here, but I would be getting rid of this one. Which part, Allison? Yeah, just putting that, just overlapping. Yeah. Be like that. Get rid of that seam right there. And then I don't have any worry about the waterproofing there. Don't really like that point there. But yeah, I could. And then you just put a notch there for your sleeve. That's really all you need, and a notch there so that you know where the hood notches go. Yeah, don't you think that could be a good idea? I think so too. All right, well, let's do it. Everyone knows how to sew a shoulder seam, right? Okay, so my shoulder right now only has 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So this needs to overlap 3/4. It's got to go on the fold. And then I'll just have to trim that part off for the right front, left front thing. Hey, Terry, nice to see you. I'm ooching that way, so I need to ooch back this way. I don't want to cut into my fabric over here. I think I have plenty of fabric. So I'm still debating, should I make double yolks? So I can just treat it as one. I probably don't need to really take it that far, do I? Okay, so I think I can get most of this here. So let's open this up. I'm totally like, should I do that? Oh man, I really need to just make this so that it works for more people probably. Okay. So so Hearts is, helping sponsor this stream. They sent me the pattern and they gave me a credit towards the fabric. I bought the lining expansion pack and I bought the hardware myself and the otter wax, which they actually said they used to carry, but just there wasn't a lot of interest in it, so they kind of let it go. But you can get all this fabric from them. I'm using this really awesome Ruby Star Society print by Sarah Watts that I'm really excited about. I think it's going to look really nice. Look at those little manatees and iguanas. I think this is called from her Florida collection. I don't really know. But I really like it. Look, the little spider. I thought I saw an otter. Look at this little roller coaster there. It's pretty cute. Yeah, my glasses are driving me nuts. I just got them, Glenn. No, I'm going to do the wax after it's sewn. So I actually looked at that because I thought about that too. And I think one of the best parts about this is that you don't have to sew waxed fabric as you're going. Yeah, I'm going to go to the eye doctor today because I got them yesterday. I just wanted to see if I could. This is my fold, by the way, so I really need to fold them accurately. I wasn't sure I'd be able to read the chat. I don't think that they're actually. They didn't do the distance part of it very good. And my other ones, the ones I was really looking forward to, they made the lenses too small. So they didn't fit inside my frames. The fabric is just like a quilting cotton. It's very smooth though. Their quilting cotton is very smooth. Almost poplin-esque. So I'm just making sure I don't have any folds under there, and I'm gonna make sure also that I don't short myself. Yeah, I'm really tempted to put my old glasses on because of it. But he said, you might have to get used to them, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get used to them. I want them to work. I just kind of was like, okay. What you're saying is there's no way you guys could have made a mistake assuming the distance from here to there. This linen is, it's already relaxing, I can tell. Got to be careful with that stuff. All right, so we need to trim one of these off right here. And then I need to mark the notch at the shoulder. I'm going to do the center back. And then we'll do this and this. Had a little bit of crisis of consciousness with that notch there. And we're going to trim this off for the right front. Okay, we have our yoke. That's great. I feel good about that shoulder seam now. I think one person was like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, yay, everybody wants me to do that. All right, so I think we have a couple of other pieces that only get cut once. And then we have our hood. So I think I'm going to cut, I think I'm just going to wait. I'm going to start cutting the big pieces now. And I'm going to do it from the other end. I do that because that piece, that end down there is kind of uneven, and it'll just be more of a struggle to try and get these pieces to kind of transition into it. The way I look at it is, what if I start from this end and go that way, and then I might have the biggest possible piece left at the end, rather than trimming off that whole chunk that's a little bit uneven. That could have been just like attacked with it. Ray, thank you, Ray. How are you doing? Are you just watching on your big TV? Thank you. As many changes. I think I gotta call it a day on the changes at some point. So you can see this is where I added a little bit to my hip girth, and I did it to nothing at the yoke line back here. So just swung it out. And then I had to kind of true up the hem a little bit, which you can't really see because I took 2 inches off my hem just because I'm not really a size 16 in height. I really regret not changing that to the corgi. Sorry. Oh, do I, maybe, you know what, I'm gonna, ooh, can I get the sleeve there? Oh, I can. Okay. You can see I was trying to true my side seam after doing all of those fit changes. I've sewn 3 muslins now. Mainly because I did so many changes on that first one. So I did my very first one, no changes. Second one, changes. So I just did the hood, 1 sleeve, and that body like I showed you in the video at the beginning. And then I did 1 more to check what I wanted, which I like. I can't show you the old one. That's why I showed the video, because I borrowed that sleeve off of it, because all the changes I did didn't affect that sleeve, and that's what I was hoping that would be great, right? I wouldn't have to make as many changes. All right, so let's notch the center front here. And I did that side there. our sleeve, which just fits so nicely here. I have a lot of extra fabric. I think I added a half a yard. One of the things to note is if you go to buy the lining pack, for some reason the yardages for the lining aren't on the listing for that, so you have to actually buy it to find out. I was already kind of armpit deep in this project, so I was able to just buy the pattern knowing I needed it at that point. I was pretty committed. 5 1/8, 5 1/8. Pretty good. There we go. Again, I'm staying away from this edge because it's pretty wrinkly and cut a little bit crooked. Alright. This doesn't look like I changed the hem. I can tell where I've changed. Remember, I trimmed 1/4 of an inch off everywhere so I had 3/8 inch seams. Right there doesn't look like I did. Maybe I did. Oh, maybe I did. Okay. Maybe it's wider than I remember. It sure makes my pattern look clean. Because the lining pieces are layered. I only printed out 14 through 16. And for the body, I ended up tracing those off so I wasn't changing the body pieces. That's why my patterns don't really look like theirs. I didn't mind changing my pattern pieces for the lining because it's a PDF. I can reprint those out if I ever want them. Generally, I don't really mind changing my originals, but when I'm doing this many changes, might as well, right? Ah, Lou, thank you. Ooh, you got Pusheen. That's nice of you. Thank you. All right, you guys are being so generous. So I do have kind of an announcement, and I just don't want it to turn into this, like, I don't want my stream to be about this, but I am gonna have to move out of here because I just don't want to keep paying for rent here. Ooh, I'm getting so nervous saying this to you guys. That means my live streams may not be happening in a couple months. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. So I'll still be making video and uploading it, making patterns and doing whatever. In fact, I have this fun little project I'm working on and I'm recording, and I'll probably post the first one today or tomorrow. I'll tell you a little bit about that too. But yeah, my expenses are about $1,500 a month. Everyone's super generous. I do not want to rely on Patreon, but I am relying on Patreon a lot. I am 100% relying on that. So, you know, it is what it is. It's like sad in a lot of ways because the live stream for me is my number one thing. I really like it. It's my favorite thing. If I could just do this 4 or 5 days a week, that's what I would do. You know, like shorter streams, so it wasn't like these 3 to 9 hour things, you know. That's what I would do. But I can't. The stream, even with your generosity, it just doesn't pay for itself. That's just kind of how it is. And most people can do this hi Sydney, most people can do this because they do it at home and they don't pay overhead on a space like I have to, and I can't do it at home because my internet's not good enough. This doesn't mean though that I'm gonna stop doing things at all. And maybe this will translate into finding some other space. I'm kind of hoping that this will be the kick in the butt that maybe something new will open up to me. I actually had someone extremely generous in the community offer to give me this space in her home. She has a very unique home, and she has this extra guest room. The guest room though it's the tiniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's smaller than my closet. And it would work in some respects with getting my stuff up there and in there, and I'd be in someone's home, and that, I don't know, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna look at talking to the community college, because I actually live in a valley where there's a community college that fully has internet, and they don't have students on campus right now. So I'm hoping that maybe they would find some way to allow me to rent space there, since it's educational and I'm not making a profit. And I don't plan on making a profit doing this. I just wanted to cover my expenses. And I needed to rent this. I needed to rent this to get out of my old place. And I rented this, and this is a really good deal. Like, what I pay here is a really good deal. My internet, I just did a speed test before I started streaming, is like over 800 download and more like 175 upload. Yeah, that would be awesome, Adina. And so the other thing I wanted to say in lieu of live streaming is I'll probably do Zoom, because that seemed to go really well and my internet was fine for that at home. So at home, I have the opposite. I have something like 10 download and 2 upload. So the other thing is I'm also going to talk to my landlord and see if he'll let me at least rent some space here so I can use the internet, just like a desk, you know, because there's really no one in the building. It's a huge building, and the internet here is crazy good. Like, it's like better than gamers I follow. Is that the sewing guild? Really? I don't know. I don't know, Adina. I mean, I feel like I've been trying to think of lots of things, but I don't know. Like, I could talk a lot about this. This isn't something that I took lightly. And I knew this day might come. This is just how it is. Live streaming sewing isn't live streaming gaming. And I'm having, it's an uphill battle, right? And all the things that I've encountered. So I don't, like I say, no, there's nothing that can be done with the internet home. It's very rural. It's satellite. It might get better, but even if it gets better, I think it'll be barely on the cusp okay to stream. So I'm going to try it, but I have to wait till I have my streaming computer there. So, I mean, I can Zoom, but I think it's different. So yeah, I never, ever, ever expected pattern companies to be like, wow, what a great service you're providing. Here's money, and we're going to give you all the advertising in the world. You can't find me on Twitch. I am on Twitch, but I'm not streaming on Twitch, Michelle, because the what do you call it? Like a third-party service that allowed me to stream simultaneously on YouTube and Twitch stopped working. And nothing they could do could get it to work again. And the thing is, I'm violating terms of service with Twitch if I stream to YouTube at the same time, if I'm over a certain level streamer, and I did meet those qualifications, like affiliate or partner or whatever. I love Twitch. It's my favorite streaming platform. It's what I watch all the time. I feel like it's so much more conducive, but there's just not a lot of sewists in this vein on there. There's a huge support for the cosplay community. If anyone's into cosplay or interested in watching that, really awesome stuff on there. Totally recommend checking it out. Look in the makers and crafting category and you'll find them. Yeah, the community college is just down the street. Down the street. Yeah, exactly. Right, Michelle? I know the struggle so well. There's so many times where I'm like trying to put in streamer emotes in my in my texts. It's so funny to hear someone else say that. Like beyond Pog and all that too. Like just so many. I love that you feel the same way. I know, and I just had someone follow me on Twitch the other day and I was like, oh, I feel really bad that I'm not on there. Maybe, I don't know, Michelle, like right now my internet, I just can't do it at home. And here, you know, so my Patreon I think is up to maybe like $3.50 a month. And then my pattern sales very much fluctuate. And the thing is, you know, like it's like three full-time jobs doing patterns, being a live streamer, doing uploaded videos. Ad revenue, about $100 a month. That is not the avenue to go. People think that, I could show you guys. Would you guys like to see what YouTube analytics looks like and what the ad revenue thing looks like? You just ask me and I'll show you. It's pretty cool. No, Pet Ray. So no sewing hype train. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be fun? That's a total Twitch thing. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I hoped to go to Twitch, and I would have liked to just do that. But YouTube's just where it's at for the sewing community and for DIY. So it's really great. And like I say, I'll still plan on doing uploads, and I have this kind of fun project I'm doing now. And like I said, I think I'll be able to upload video here and edit it here. I'm going to have to stop live streaming, Sydney. I just can't afford to keep renting here. Basically, I've been living off my savings from closing Chicken Boots. So the only profit I ever made, I've thrown at this. And I just don't really want to see the rest of it go away, because then it would mean other things. You know, like I really like having that little tiny nest egg I have left to do projects and things like that. I have so many things I want to do, but I can't just keep spending money. Everyone here is really jealous, but it's just, and generous, but it's just not, it's not up to you. It's just not up to you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not up to, I feel like this is a community service and it is really great, but like even $5 a month. So if you did it through Twitch or YouTube, they're taking like 40%, right? So think about how many of those $5 a month you would need to cover $1,500. And that's just covering expenses. That's not like buying fabric and materials and things like that. That's like my rent, my internet, my PG&E. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. And so if you guys are interested in doing the Zoom thing, especially Patreon folks, and I'm definitely going to see, this may change in 2 months, you guys. I don't know. So I'm going to totally like, I waited as long as possible. My husband's like, you can do it. I'm like, I know eventually it'll get there, but I can't just run at a deficit. I'm not interested in going into debt. And I'm not there yet. I'm far away from that, but I just don't want to do that. I want to be smart about it, right? I don't want to be a bad example on how to run a business. And I look at this as a business. Shoot, I just untied my shoe. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, and Zoom is kind of fun. Yeah, I want to stream from our homes. I gotta tie my shoe, otherwise I know I'm gonna trip myself. And I would really like to not ever have fallen live on camera. Like, I'd like to at least hang on to that thing I've never done on here. So yeah, like I was kind of hoping that eventually maybe I would land like a paid sponsorship where a company was like, hey, will you sew this for us in your live stream format? 3 streams, $500, something like that. And if I could have like 3 of those a month, that would have been great, right? But that just never happened. And really the only way I could get people to kind of get on board with sponsorships was that I was like, hey, send me your project, your pattern, your fabric. I'll sew it and I'll send it back to you. I don't even get to keep it. Exactly. So, and things like the sponsorships are just so awesome because then you get such a great variety. You get they're invested in it. But they probably like the return on $500, that might be a lot. Like think about how many patterns you would have to sell to make $500. Like even if it was $14 a pattern, like what is that? Oh, I don't have a calculator on my thing. I always have a calculator on my toolbar. So that'd be 30, 60, 90. That's 6 per 100. So yeah, you'd have to sell 30 patterns, and they're not getting full profit for that, right? So does it really make sense? Do they really think maybe cumulatively they would be able to recoup that because the live streams sit there forever? But the idea of them trusting me to sew their thing the way they maybe want me to, or maybe they'd be worried I would do it wrong or say something bad or about them, you know, about the pattern. There's just so many things that people just, I don't think they want to trust that. And now we're talking about 12 months of the year. You know. Yeah, well, you know, I could see that they're maybe nervous about it. Like, this was a hard decision, but at the same time, like, I think some good stuff will come out of it anyway. I'm not really worried about it. I'm worried about fitting in my home. I think I'm going to get rid of a ton of stuff. I'll probably have like a craft yard sale. Craft business yard sale. I'm excited about like that kind of thing, like, you know, paring down, because that's all I've been working on these last few years is paring down. And I just have so much information I'd really like to share, and it really gets bogged down by the business of trying to be not profitable, but break even. Our house is much smaller. We only have a 2-bedroom house. And so my husband already gave me the other bedroom, and I have like all my stuff that I have at home there, which isn't that much. I know, right? But the thing is, it's not for me to convince them, you know? And I think, like, personally, and the thing is, you guys, you don't even know all the other things that have happened that I don't tell you about. Like, I've told you about pattern companies accusing me of giving away their patterns for free. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, Nancy. I'm probably going to be stopping streaming for a bit just because it's just, I can't keep paying rent. So you can rewind and watch the rest of it. But, you know, like, there's been all kinds of crazy things where I'll be like, oh, hey, I'm sewing this, blah, blah, blah. And then that pattern company sees that and they're like, you can't do that. I forbid you to. You're giving my pattern away for free. I'm like, no, we'd never do that. And then I'm just like, okay, fine, I'm not going to do that. Or the pattern company, after I streamed, was like, oh, hey, can you edit that down and we'll put it on our website? No, I can't do that. And I'm really nice, and I'm really like, oh, that's not kind of what it's about. It's about this. And to edit that would take me like 15 hours minimum. And, you know, if you wanted to do that, I would, but I don't really think you want to pay for something like that, you know. Or how about all the companies that started doing videos of the exact same thing I just sewed? You know? Oh, there's a ton of drama in the sewing world. I'm really about, like, we're all in this together, and we should be helping each other out and being supportive. But I don't not see a lot of that, but I do see a lot of, there's just so many people out there doing it for free, hoping for maybe something else, not fame, but maybe. I don't really want that. Right, Sydney? Exactly. Yeah, so it's just, it's really it's complicated, but simple. My mission is to help people sew things realistically. And I really like blending my style of using production sewing techniques and home sewing techniques, so you can be kind of speedy, but kind of clean finished, and doing kind of, you know, that kind of thing, right? I don't ascribe to couture stuff, and I don't subscribe to, you know, any one way of doing things. I kind of just like people getting there and feeling good about it. I never really wanted to even do Patreon, because I think asking you guys to pay me to pay other people to sew other people's patterns seemed really crazy. Like, if you can't do it with their instructions, you have to visit something. Shouldn't they be paying for that? I don't know. That whole interaction, Michelle, got really weird. I feel like I must have said something that bugged that designer, and I love that project. That project actually ended up being a super popular project. And I think I just got off on the wrong foot. I rub people the wrong way. I know that about myself, and I don't know how to change that. I'm very open and honest, and I think that's not very comfortable for a lot of people. And maybe I say things that rub them the wrong way, but I just said, oh, hey, it's not like that. It's a live stream. You're totally welcome to link to them and show it. And I think for some people, they're like, oh, so you can make all the ad revenue. I literally made, $3 maybe total. We could look at that video. I probably made $3. So the best supported video I've ever gotten was the Suki robe by Helen's Closet. That was such an amazing partnership. They were amazing. She posted about it every day on Instagram. She did blog posts. She did newsletters. She posted all this stuff. And the only thing she had to pay for was sending me the materials and the pattern. And she could have just left it at that, right? She paid for that. But then she did all that other support. Even after all that, you guys, I think out of all both those videos total, I've maybe made $27 in ad revenue. So it's not like views are where it's at either. I can't rely on ad revenue. There's so many people out there doing such a great job on sewing on the internet and on YouTube. So maybe that is what people want, but they're willing to do it for free. I'm willing to do it for free, actually. I just don't want to do it out of my own pocket. And that's what I'm doing. I'm paying to do this. So it's really been fun. I really love it. And I wouldn't change it at all. Like, I love this. This is exactly what I wanted to do. I never planned on this being a business. You have to remember, I already had a business at the time. Did I already cut this out? Oh, no, it's the hood facing. I'm like, I did that curve already. I never planned on this being my business. I just did this on the side for fun. And then when I had to close my business, I was like, okay, I'll just do that and see where it goes. It's kind of fun. I actually really love this, and it was kind of new. I never thought it was going to replace my lucrative business. Oh, my glasses are driving me crazy. Yeah, ad revenue it's a kind of a joke. Yeah, it's views that gets them the money. What, Nancy? You learned something. That's awesome. That's awesome, Terry. Sorry, I'm not looking at your... Yeah, it's true, Sydney. What you say, I don't think I get you into trouble saying that. Yeah, I know, Allison. That's so funny. I had someone else say, I've literally bought every pattern you've streamed. This was like a year ago. So at that point, it wasn't, 100 patterns by then. But, this is, yeah, I will do Zoom get-togethers and things. So I think, what was I about to say? Oh, I was about to say something. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I really like that I met Andrea through Soda Fit, another streamer, and she's really weathered all the storms of different video things. Like her viewers have stuck by her, which has been really great. Oh, this is all the fabric I have. I've cut all my big pieces though, right? We're safe. And she said something once to me. She said, your viewers are going to stick with you no matter where you end up or where you go. So don't worry about that ever. And I wasn't even looking for that piece of advice, but that kind of stuck with me. And I liked hearing that, So it's like, I think about that. But at the same time, you guys can do what you want, Yeah. I don't know yet, Patty. I did it once and it was really fun. And I just was at home and I Zoomed and it worked out really good. Oh, Nancy, that's what I was going to say. The only YouTubers making bank are the ones. So, it's interesting because of how the algorithm works and all that. This isn't a pessimistic thing to say. This is my realistic take on all the research I've done, and I've been doing a lot. I've been like, I just untied my shoe again. I got new shoes and the laces are too low. This is why I wear clogs. I'm just gonna say that. This is why I wear clogs. It would be anyone going to become a YouTuber right now, if they just want to make a living, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. And it's not a negative thing to say. It's just because now at this day and age, if you weren't there, 6 years ago, it's going to be really hard. Your daughter makes bank on YouTube, Adina? That's awesome. Well, maybe I am wrong. I'm tying my shoe again. And then I'm going to make the loops big so I don't step on them again. You should buy your first pair of clogs. Oh, gosh. Hope you like them. They're kind of hard for people to get used to because the heel slips. And I like that. Yeah, so for me, this is the positives that have come out of making this decision. I made this decision over Christmas. The positives for me are the fact that I feel, and you've probably seen this since last week, I feel less tethered, even more than not being as transparent. I'm more transparent now. That's awesome, Adina. Good for her. That's so cool. I follow a few YouTubers her age that are totally like that. And I think that it depends on your subject matter, your target audience, and if you're in that entertaining kind of sector or your technology, something like that. Let's do my hood here. But if, like the sewing stuff, and I don't know if I really want to have to market. This is the thing. I don't like marketing. I don't really want to market myself, and the idea of not having to do that is really awesome. It's really awesome. If I can just do whatever I want, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. If I like it, that's all that matters. I can say all I want that that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years, but let's be honest. I mean, I actually was using a little bit of strategy doing this. I wouldn't always pick patterns that I thought would be the most popular. You can look at my whole catalog of videos and say that's not what I did, because I didn't. Sorry, guys. I did whatever I wanted in the moment and whatever. Yeah. I don't know what Dunning-Kruger is. Kind of like what you guys talking about imposter syndrome and all that. Okay, oh yeah. I have all those pieces I hate cutting out. I was so confused on the directions, I started renaming them, and even that ended up being wrong. I was like, okay, when I finally figured it out, I was like, okay, I finally know what's going on here. And see, I feel like I can say that more. No, it's not at the cost of streaming on YouTube. It's the cost of having an office, Patty. Because I can't stream from home. If I could stream from home, this would not be an issue. And this is why I still have a few avenues I'm going to look at. So someone generously offered a space in their home, but I think I'm going to turn that down because I just don't want to be in someone's home, just to be honest. And it's upstairs, and I don't want to carry my stuff upstairs. The industrial machine and the tables, I just am done doing that kind of stuff. Plus, it's tiny. Bye, Lou. See ya. Have a good day. I know it's early for you. And then I'm going to talk to the college, and that might just get blown apart immediately. But the thing is, there's a huge community college campus in my valley. It's like a few miles away. And they have internet. The internet stops there. The internet stops there. We all thought that once Paradise Fire happened, after the fire, a lot of people thought, oh, they're going to rebuild the infrastructure and now we're all going to have internet, but that hasn't happened. So it stops at the college, and I'm going to talk to them since students aren't in session. Maybe there's a chance that, I don't know, they have a small office somewhere, because it's educational, and I'm not a nonprofit, but I don't really want to be profitable. This is one way I can give back, and my husband makes enough to support us. I don't have to help out anymore. So, yeah, exactly, Adina. Yeah. Yep, exactly. The whole moving the industrial upstairs, and we've done that so many times. I have people that are just like, I'm never helping you move this again. Like, they've told me that. I'm like, okay. All right, so I'm going to trim this down. 1/4 inch on these 3 sides and 3/8 of an inch at the neckline. But I'm gonna do this at the end. I'll even do this off camera just so I don't want to mess those up. Just because I'm cutting down my seam allowances, that's why. Are any of my notches going this edge? No, okay, so I can line up my edges here. So some of the things I'm kind of excited about are that I can maybe work on fabric design a little bit more. I have this series that I'm started recording because I'm doing this project. Someone asked me to design and make a bag for their subscription box, and I have to make 100 bags. Okay, Terry. And I decided it would be such a great example to show how to cost, plan, produce, manufacture the design decisions I'm making to make it sewable by me, by only me. What fabrics I'm going to pick and why. So it's going to be perfect for that indie business that is struggling with, like, I'm sorry, I'm thinking while I'm talking. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So I think it'll be really good because I'm really going to, this is on the fold. This is a pet peeve right here. This long skinny piece being on the fold. Why not just make the whole pattern piece? It's so much more inaccurate to cut something on the fold sometimes. It's really hard to stay accurate. Long skinny things. Okay, I have to look at the thing. You may be able to use the library for feet under ASD. Oh, okay, Adina. Interesting. Wait. It's like when you first start, you think, oh, okay, I got this. And then the further you realize that you knew nothing and have a ton to learn. Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know what brought that up. But I do see a lot of people. I definitely, there's the thing is, like, I'm competing against people like that. I don't really want to compete against those people. You either want the entertaining and flashy and the cool, that looks really cool and maybe that'll work, or you want, like, the realistic kind of thing that maybe it'll take a little bit more labor on the viewer's part to actually be invested in seeing it and kind of paying attention, and it's not like bite-sized stuff. If I could have an editor editing videos and making things, chunked down, that would be really awesome, but that's not going to happen. And I literally get people saying that against that. They really want it edited down. And I agree. I would love for this to take 1/10 the time to make. But that's not what happened. And I don't feel like people need to stick it through the whole thing. If I could speed it up and make the live streams shorter, oh, I totally would do that. But it's just, I'm not going to spend time editing the live streams. If I got a lot of ad revenue on things, I would. But I don't, so I don't see the point in it. That's why the timestamps are really great, because then people can at least skip to what they need. And maybe I'll work on that a little bit more. I'll be able to add timestamps to past things, and you guys have been so generous already doing so many. Oh, really, Allison? There's some good sewing YouTubers out there, though. I don't watch any of them, but that's not because I don't like them or whatever. It's just, this isn't my hobby. Isn't that terrible? But it's not. It hasn't been my hobby since I was in high school. It's my job. So what I do for my hobby right now is, lately it's sketching, like you guys have seen my dumb little sketches. Yesterday's prompt was pajama, and I was just like, pajama? I don't want no pajamas. So I just did the first thing that popped into my mind. What was the day before that? Oh, morning ritual. How do you sketch your morning ritual beyond just sketching a cup of coffee? You know? I digress though. That's my hobby right now is I'm working on my sketching skills, sticking to a plan. Playing video games is kind of a hobby, but it's more like my relaxing time. If it was really my hobby and I wanted to get better at it, I'd be watching even more streams and videos on how to do it, which I did a lot in the beginning. They are not amazing. They're very, very nice, but that app really makes me look smarter than I am. The Procreate app's so amazing. I did the both hoods, right? Okay, one of these is on the fold and one of these is cut 2. You're cut 2, and you're also going to need your seam allowances cut down, aren't you? All right. I just wanted to have like the PBS version of a live stream. The Bob Ross version of a live stream. For all the Twitch people out there, they know what I mean. Bob Ross is on Twitch. He usually has more views than anybody, right, too. It's really funny. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I like things really quick. You know, like, I would really like... I'm always looking for the shortest video. And, but I can also tell a video that I'm like, oh, you just skipped some stuff I need, you know? Oh boy. Maybe my editing will get better too. So that would be good. So when I start uploading videos, maybe they'll get better. Maybe I'll decide to finally make the track that I want at my house. What games am I playing? I am playing a lot of Rogue Company. It's the first PvP game that I'm actually okay at. Bob is always on. He really is. And I just love how many views he has. I'm just like, wow, okay. Bob's doing pretty good. I play a lot of Rogue Company. Oh, and I still have my grounded difficulty. Hey, Una, how's it going? Grounded difficulty trophy to get on The Last of Us Part 2. But I'm almost at the end of the game. I'm about to get it, which is pretty cool. It's been really hard. But I did it. And I have a few single player games that I'd like to play, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh, and the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, I can't watch them either, right? I like PvP, even though I'm really bad at it, just because I get to hang out with friends. But I honestly think they like hanging out with me because I don't get ragey. It's just like, this isn't what I'm good at. I don't expect to get. Oh, this is so annoying. Now I do have this. Look at this piece of fabric I have. Yeah, I can't wait to play Horizon. Oh, awesome, Elizabeth. Good, I'm glad. That's great. I did there too. Oh, you started playing Hue. Isn't it so sweet, Melinda? Oh, that's such a sweet... I love the mechanics of that game. Do you like it? That's pretty cool. I'm tempted to put this on the other green line just to not use up my fabric. Or just put maybe I'll just put a seam there. I'd rather not put this on the fold up here and lose this chunk or this chunk down here, you know, like cut in the middle. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this on a seam at center back just to save a little fabric. I thought a really good example, or I mean, not example, but a trial for doing the waterproofing would be to make a Sorrento bucket hat out of this fabric. just so I can get the hang of it. Oh, I don't need to go all the way down there. I'm corrupting you slowly, Ray. I like Rib Company. I don't know what it is about it that I like, but my friends literally ask me, why don't you get ragey? Like, everybody I play with but one person gets really upset, even especially during that game. But I think it's pretty cool. I don't mind it. I need to add some seam allowance here. I don't know what I was about to do like that. Okay. Maybe I should have been better about just directly asking for sponsorships, but you know, one pattern company. So I was really proactive last year. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. You know, I created this form, and it was like a what do you call it? Oh no, when you know, like a form where it's just like the same that you said. What the heck is that name? Oh, anyway, it said, hi, you know, my name is Sarami, and I'm sewing your garment on my live stream, and this is what I do, and blah, 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 and if you ever would like to do low-key sponsorship, this is my sponsorships, and you don't pay me anything, it's just the project and the pattern, or the fabric and the pattern, and then I send it back to you so you get to keep it, and then your customers have a live stream reference for videos, blah, 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 right? It was just like this form I could send. So I sent it to the first company when we were making something, and they actually replied, and they were like, oh, that's awesome. And only reason I had approached this company was because we had, Hearts had sponsored a pattern by them once before, and they actually liked it. You know, I could see a little engagement. So I was like, okay, there's some potential with that person, right? Or that company. So I did that, and then they were like, sure, we would do that. I can send you whatever pattern you want. And I was like, all right, well, now I feel bad because I don't really want free patterns. I had a French pattern company, same thing. Whatever pattern you want. Well, I don't want the pattern. That's no big deal. I can afford a $10 thing or whatever. And it's really the principle and the point of it, right? I want the project. I don't actually, like, your patterns are awesome. Maybe I would sew one of them, but I wasn't really, what I want is someone to say, hey, this is a pattern that we'd really like to promote, and this is the project, and here's the fabric. And people don't really want to do that. So, or they're not reading and comprehending what I'm saying, and I keep it really simple but very explicit. And then, or maybe they don't like that idea, and they're like, but we'll give you a pattern. Well, I don't really want to do that. So, you're still watching BOTW. What's BOTW again? We'll get it in a second. Breath of the Wind. I don't even play that game. Oh, I catch this Irish streamer occasionally on the front page. It's really funny. So then I was like, okay, that'd be great. You know, sometime here I'll send you my form, and it's like this form where it says, oh, this is our name, this is the web address that you want to tell your viewers about me, telling my viewers about. This is our project, and then I have like check boxes. Are you okay with me doing modifications? Yes or no. Do you want to offer any discounts or whatever to the viewers? You don't have to, but if you want to, go ahead. Or promotions. Which size and view do you want me to sew? Because they get to pick whatever size and view that they want, because they're keeping it. Things like that. And then I got no response from them, which is fine. I didn't expect it right away. But then they stopped liking all of my posts. And then I made a project of theirs. And this is when I had started this conversation. And then they didn't like a single one of the posts. And I was like, okay, I did something wrong. I don't know what I did. So, and if you're not going to say, oh, hey, that we weren't really keen on this, I don't know. I don't know what to do, So one company I can't even find an email for them, and they're a major, major indie company. I sew things for them all the time. And no email. I can't find a single email for them. So, I don't know, you guys. I don't really know how to go about it. I'm getting a lot of traction lately, which is awesome, but it doesn't mean it equates to money to pay the bills. People assume you're on YouTube and you're monetized, you're making money. Or I think another thing is people think I'm attention seeking. I think that's a pretty fair thing to assume about someone YouTubing, that they might be really attention seeking. I'm getting really distracted. I just want to cut my garment out. Oh boy. This is a funky piece of fabric, but I'm really glad I bought as much as I did. All right. Let's cut the pretty stuff. Ooh, that's so much nicer on the screen, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna like make this, I need this like, when I fold this accordion style, I always do it this wide and I need it like a quarter that width. So I don't accidentally cut into it while it's sitting on my table. This is a much smaller table. So let's accordion, I like accordion fold it because then it doesn't get hung up. You know, I thought about classes and stuff like that, but I really just, I don't have the time. Yeah, right, Adina? And I'm pretty introverted. I have to just not think about it that I'm on camera. And I was going to do a whole video about the fact that I'm not going to be streaming, but I was like, I don't really want to do a whole video about it. It doesn't need to be a video. Ooh, look at that. It's like a wasp nest. What is this? Oh, it's a tree. I thought I was looking at it upside down. Sorry, Sarah Watts. It's perfect. It's hilarious. I didn't want to do a whole, like, I felt like that would be so dramatic. Why I'm leaving YouTube live streaming. It's not about that. Here, this is much easier to do like this. There we go. I know I have a groove for this, but I always figure it out when I'm almost done. You know? Okay, that's a nice smaller little pile. Okay, isn't that nice, Noon? Oh, I love it. Yeah, so you can get any of my materials. I think they're getting the hardware kits too, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the patterns are in at Hearts, and there's a discount on the screen right here. It's always disoriented. I'm like, oh. All right, let's move these guys out of the way. I still need to do stuff to these. These pieces need interfacing. There's not as many pieces, so don't worry. I need to cut out this flap. It's in both lining and outer fabric. Oh my gosh, my glasses are kind of driving me nuts. Yeah, kind of a heads up. You think, Heather? I don't know. Hi, Michelle. How's it going? There's 2 Michelles here. You're not late. You are perfectly on time. Why am I just... Let's see. Let me think about this. I don't know. I feel, Heather, like by doing that, I am too honest. And I really worry that what I would do is be like, this is exactly the reasons. And I would say those things. And it would almost feel like I'm trying to guilt someone or attack companies for not supporting me. Oh, yeah, Noon. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. If someone wants to know, they can ask me, or I don't know. So I just used the existing flap, and I think there's a big dot on the pattern, and the flap actually is like this tall, and I think I cut it around that dot because I just want this to be a flap over my welt pocket. Whereas in the pattern, it's a decorative flap that sits on top of your pocket. On time like a wizard, Lord of the Rings joke. Exactly. He shows up perfectly when he's supposed to. What is the quote? We're always waiting for you. Oh, I don't know how human and normal I am, Adina. I mean, I am, but you know. Okay, so I wouldn't mind fussy cutting a little bit, things like this, right? And so if this was my flap, see this little egret here? I could do it so that when you lift up the flap, he's right side up. Or she. I just saw an egret this morning on my way in at this pond nearby us that has swans and geese. And it was just sitting there. I was like, oh, those were really common birds where I used to live in Humboldt. And they also had night roosting herons. And sometimes when we'd be driving by these certain areas along the ocean, well, the bay, there's these huge trees. If you looked up at the right time when there was enough light, I literally just threw that in my trash bin. You could see them all. You would catch them in the trees because they were going up there because it was getting dark, but it wasn't too dark not to see them. There'd be like 100 of them in there. It was so cool. The first time Michael showed me that, because he's really into birds, I had lived there for a little bit, and I was like, whoa, they were huge. It was pretty cool. All right, Penny, nice seeing you. A wizard is never late, that's what it is. Nor is he early, or as precisely what he means to. Yeah, okay. Welcome back, Terry. I love it. That's exactly. A wizard is never late. Is that a quote from the book, though? Okay, so do I want them on both sides? Oh, no, I have to go for these frogs. So we have a pond at our house. Oh, but the manatees are really... Okay, we'll just wait. The right moment will come along for my flaps. Okay. I think I'm going to do interfacing in those too. Sorry, I just hit the egrets. Yes, I know. So cute. Allison. So now I'm like, I'm like cleaning my office with the intent of probably moving it all home. And I'm pretty good about staying up on projects, but it is kind of obvious to me I have quite a few going. I'm like, do I want to bring those? This is not on the fold. So paranoid of that cutout, aren't I? I have a chest pocket. I added a chest pocket. Hood lining. What do we have? Oh, this won't fit though. I don't think. Where's the back? Oh, okay. Or the front. What was I saying? Oh, what was I about to tell you guys? Oh, the linen is whiter. The linen is whiter. Hello, Mrs. Canoe. How's it going? Yeah, this is the lining for my jacket. I cut one flap out. Now I'm like, where'd that cutout go? I should have just waited to do that. Look at this waist here. Should have just fit that in. Okay. Maybe I'll go like this. Alright, So nothing else can go. Maybe this would, that would take up more space there. And then I could put 2 chest pockets and do that. I'm going to have a little bit of extra fabric. But I didn't know how much it took. I had the same problem someone else did. They didn't know how much fabric it took. So I ordered as much as my outer. Sorry, Michelle. I feel like that was a little bit sarcastic. Thanks, Terry. I hope someone else does the waterproofing with me. That would be kind of fun. Oh, sorry, guys. I keep forgetting the microphone's right there. I moved it because I'm hoping the sound is a little better. Is Walter here? I didn't see him say hi. Hi, Sherry. How's it going? I know, Sherry, right? I kept seeing this, and I didn't even consider it for the Anorak. I must have shopped their site quite a bit, actually. And then it hit me, what if I did a linen, an Essex linen? Then I can do whatever I want for the lining. One of the reasons I was having trouble was a lot of the fabrics I wanted won't play nice with the camera. So if there's like a busy stripe or certain prints, it looks really weird on the camera. You guys have probably seen what I mean. And then it'll also make my camera glitch. So I have to be mindful of that, or something too dark. And that's why I almost didn't do this because of the navy blue. But I was like, we sew jeans and it ends up being okay. So we'll just have to manage it well. And maybe I'll bring the camera down low like I've been doing for some of the videos. And we'll make it work. That's awesome, Terry. Yeah, I think doing it on a bucket hat is such a good idea. You know, I see a lot of bucket hat or hats being waterproofed on there. And you know, you guys can try it on something you already own. You don't have to sew something. You can waterproof anything as long as it falls within like the fabric parameters. So just go to the Otter Wax website. There's a couple of videos on there. It's really simple. Like there's not an overwhelming amount of information. And then their Instagram too shows them like buying, you know, work coats, you know, like a Carhartt jacket and waterproofing it. You don't have to waterproof something you sew. You can't really buy waxed cotton and then waterproof it. Oh, did I leave enough room because of this selvage? Yee! That's a lot. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Did I make it? Did I make it? Ooh. It's a selvage. Oh, cool, Terry. What do you think you're going to try it out on? Terry, I love that you're always up for this stuff. I can count on you. You're like, what kind of craziness are we up to now? Terry and I are like looking for blazers. I'm still down for that. Did you see Cashmere has one in progress? I know Friday Pattern Company came out with one, but that's not the style I want. I'm not a big fan of how that one's fit. That's not the fit I want. I like the Jessica, but I don't know. Okay. It's chilly in my office right now. I don't buy clothing either. That's so funny. I have to admit though, I kind of swore off the whole underwear thing. And lately, I have to admit, I'm kind of thinking like, my husband recently was like, he got a spotting scope, and he used a few different gift certificates that he could use at one place. I don't know where the place was. Like maybe he had a Visa card or whatever, and he got a spotting scope, and so he can look at birds, and it takes pictures and little videos and sends it to his phone, and so he's been sending me those. In fact, one of my prompts was wilderness, so I did one of his pictures. You're gonna think I did a good job, but I literally put his picture underneath me and then I color it, so it's like paint by number. But I was like, oh, I want a new toy. Like, I wanted really just the feeling of when you have a new toy and you're into it and it's going really well and it wasn't even that expensive. He didn't even spend that much on it, and it ends up being this really cool thing. I was like, oh, I want that feeling. And he's like, you can get a new toy. I was like, oh, I can? I was like rugs for the house. He's like, well, not quite, you know. So, I'm gonna get a new serger, I think. I'm gonna buy a used serger, but I think I might, because I kind of think it's time for me just to do that. I keep looking at the underwear going, I actually do like my underwear that I sewed. But some of them, there's a hole in the side seam on one, there's a hole in the elastic on the other. I did kind of a poor job at those. So I'm gonna have to up my skills. Do you really, Adina? Oh. What the heck? That's such a good idea. That's a good idea, actually. Like the ones like before you used to sew your own, because I have a few of those left. You're weaving your ends into your socks. Nice. Okay, so this could fit here. And this is cut one, and this is 2 and 2. I have this. Oh, I have a lot of fabric. Lots of fabric. That's why I can just lay the pieces on here and cut. This is a luxury, for sure. Do you? Okay, cool. You did, Michelle. I don't know. I think, you know what? I've thought a lot about what makes a good beginning instructional. And this is why I haven't done. I actually filmed a whole series on beginning sewing. Everything from how to put a bobbin on your machine and wind it, like every little detail. And I never did anything with it. It's still sitting there in my to be edited. And the reason I didn't is because I actually think, even though a new sewist may be flawed in his or her skills that they're doing, like maybe they're not as good as they could be, they have firsthand knowledge of what a beginner really needs and is missing from all the other videos or instructionals, you know? And I think that's why, like, I had a friend that started this blog and it became huge. Huge. She wasn't my friend before I met her. I gave her a ride to a show and I was like, so wait, your business is your blog? Like, I couldn't even wrap my head around it. And then I learned, like, oh my gosh, she just learned to knit, and now she's one of the most influential people in the knitting world, in the knitting, like, indie knitting world. And I've thought about that a lot, because I was like, that's really awesome. But why? Why is that? Because I find the sociological stuff, and it's because she's learning. People can learn with her, and she wasn't like me. I'm like outputting tons of stuff. She was very methodical and very conscientious, and, you know, did what she did. Like, she didn't, like me, I have 5 billion ideas. I'm gonna do all of them today. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Hi, Beverly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think, I mean, that's exactly you watching a beginner, and I thought, and for me, like, I like the idea of putting out content that where I'm not sewing it. It doesn't have to be, like, I don't mind making mistakes. Like, you guys know that. I don't mind making mistakes. What I mind is telling you how to do something and it's wrong. That really worries me. Like, it still bugs me that my the cozy slippers I did in December were a sewing fail. Like, I almost want to take that video down, but I sewed something else with it, the video. And so I actually pinned a comment at the top saying, make sure you cut these in 4-way stretch. That was my error. That was a big error. So like that, like, I don't want to convey wrong information. But being a beginner is actually really useful because then you have that firsthand knowledge of what information you're seeking, you know? Oh, that's interesting, Beverly. That's so smart. I ended up using a self-drafted pattern, but I did have that pattern out. Pretty sure it was the acacia. Yep, exactly, Michelle. And I think that's the one thing I'm always trying to tell people. You have to make mistakes. You just have to. And it's actually the only way you're going to get better. Isn't this a double notch? I think this is. Yeah, that is a double notch because that's my mark right there. Okay. The only way you get better is by making mistakes. You have to. It's the only way you know how to get yourself out of a pickle. And that's really important. You start getting good when you know how to fix your mistakes. That's when you get good at anything, is when you know how to fix your mistakes. How to get yourself out of a problem. I mean, it's the same in cooking, right? We don't think of mistakes in cooking as being so bad, but dang, when you ruin food, that's a tragedy, right? Okay, so I think I can get my, oh, right. See, this, I should have done this so that the fabric was this side up because of this darn selvage, you know? I'm going to cut this hood out and then I'm going to flip the stack over. Eek. Can I get it in here? Can I do it? Just a few more pieces. Epic long cutting. I don't even know how many parts this sewing will be. I'm just kind of going to do it in 2-hour chunks or at good stopping points. Maybe I'll even try and keep up with the timestamps. You know, because that would be kind of nice. It would be really nice to be doing my timestamps after each video. Where's the notch? Let's do this. Hey, Zach, how's it going? Happy New Year. I'm not sure if I've seen you this year. I haven't really said Happy New Year to some of you. Sorry. Yeah, fear of costly mistakes. I still have a video in the works of how I pick a project. And part of that will be how I pick fabric. This is actually the notch, not that weird thing I just did there. This. Using your mother's money. Oh, that's awesome, Zach. That's awesome. Yeah, I in the same way, Zach. In fact, I think like that is sometimes a hindrance, right? Because I've done that for so long. Like, okay, I only want to use stuff I have, and maybe what I have isn't perfectly appropriate or what I would really want out of that project. But then you end up coming up with a combo. You're like, oh my gosh, I have enough of all this. This actually works. It's the right fabric, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to start going, sorry, I need to flip this over. You start realizing, thinking about like, wait, is it more that I'm impressed that I actually found the fabrics that work, they go together, and it's the right fabric, but have I lost sight of if it'll look good? Because I'm more caught up in, oh, I actually achieved all these other things, and then you realize, oh my gosh, this looks like a clown outfit. you know? Oh my gosh. That sounds so good, Terry. Aww. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's funny. I have my stepdad's Mexican, and he was born and raised here though, but his parents were Mexican, and his mom, so my step grandma, used to make the sopa rice that I just loved so much. I just did all of that and myself, but just still not on this side. Yeah, Elizabeth, I totally get you. It's kind of one of those chicken and egg things, isn't it? Like, oh, I don't want to like make the toile because I'm going to use fabric and have to end up throwing it away. Okay. But I will say, like, if you are in the United States and you can shop somewhere like a Joann Fabrics and get their muslin, that's $1 a yard. It's only like 36 inches wide. It's been years since I bought it, so it might be a little different than that. And then you use the 40% off coupon and you buy a whole bolt. You're literally buying a whole bolt, 15 yards of fabric for like $8. You're going to feel a lot less trepid. Trepid? Is that a word? What's the word? Like, oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. You're going to feel a lot less hesitant to cut into that and mark on it with a marker and throw it away. And what I do is I have bins of fabric and I make like floor poofs and dog beds with it. They're heavy. They're not soft and cuddly, but they're great. That sounds, those, I think you're going to have to share the recipe. It's just how it is. All right, so I might be able to get these over here. Trepidate, right? No, yeah, I think I was mixing up tepid and intrepid, and trepidatious is what I think I should have said. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. I don't do it now because I have a few bolts left over from chicken boots that, frankly, I just know I couldn't sell on their own. Yeah, exactly. So, or people use sheets. So if you, like, here we have places like Ross, which is like a not off brand, where like extra stuff gets sold from companies that are like, you know, Polo wants to get rid of all these sheets and they'll sell them there. But you can find, or just discount sheets, anything on deep discount, like sheets and things like that. Sheets are a different kind of fabric than muslin. It's a little nicer, honestly. And neither of those fabrics is perfect for garment making, but I guarantee you anything you're cutting your garment out of is going to be nicer. And so if you can get your muslin or your prototype or your toile, whatever you want to call it, to fit pretty good, it's going to look really good in the garment fabric. You know, it's like one of those things. That fabric is just so bad. But yeah, that's what I always did. I used to just buy the $1 a yard muslin, use the 40% off coupon, and then you're basically, yeah, paying $10 for 15 yards of fabric, or even less, you know. Oh, Goodwill buying sheets. Smart. Yeah, you could do the Goodwill thing. That is such a good idea. Yeah. You guys know. I feel weirdly guilty about cutting up sheets. I don't know why. But I was just going through my cupboard. Like we just moved, so I don't have a whole lot of extra stuff at my house, but I still have to go through it. And I realized we have all these sheet sets from a queen size bed, and my daughter only needs what she needs. And a lot of them are really old. Like I use things until they're like done. Or I turn them into something else. And I was just realizing, oh, I could use some of these for muslins. Okay, so there's my lining, my back. I did go through this whole boat. I actually didn't pre-wash this fabric because the jacket's never going to be washed. Once it's waxed, it's never going to be washed. Pound fabrics. But I did iron out the fold on the center of the bolt. You can, it's a little bit there, but I ironed it out really good so that I didn't have to worry about it. Okay. So here's my welt pocket pattern. It's going to go to the center front. Hoping I figured this out right. I was pretty knackered by the time I was making this and a little bit like questioning everything about my pattern. Oh, that's smart, Ray. That's smart, yeah. I really need 4 of these, and 2 of these are going to be without a hole. Okay. And 2 and 2 more. I don't have much left. Ooh, this fabric. My daughter just bought me some shoes. Like, she's been needing shoes. And so she, all right, now how do I want this to go? I guess I do, like, I was thinking about the hood, you know, it goes like this. Do I want it to be right side up here, but then it would be upside down on the back of the hood? So I guess I don't. All right. Well, so she was wanting to go and look for another pair, and I really love the pair she got. And she's like, you know, I'm going there again. Do you want me to get you a pair? I haven't had new shoes in so long that I was like, you know what? I probably could use a new pair of shoes. And so she got me a pair, and then she was sending me pictures from the mall. It was the best way of shoe shopping because I could try on her shoes, and I was like, this size fits me. We're the same size right now. It's so amazing. And there was a pair at the mall in this lilac color. I can't stop thinking about them. They were on sale. They didn't come in my size, though, or hers. It's the same size. So neither one of us got them. But I can't stop thinking about it. I kind of want them. I ended up getting green ones, though. See? Yes, I am matchy-matchy today, and I don't care. Okay, I need 2 more of these pockets. I got a green pair and a red pair, because mainly I can't stop thinking about green. And I love red shoes. I love having a red pair of red shoes. Okay. I still need 1 more flap. And this pocket. It's almost lunch. Oh, it is lunchtime. I really want these potatoes and onions you're talking about. Old school soul food. Okay. Country. Ooh. That sounds so good. That sounds really good. I've been watching this Mexican lady cooking Mexican food lately on YouTube. And when I was doing that, my husband started getting really into it, and I was like, oh, cool. So maybe I'll show him that site. That's so up his alley, that like potatoes and soul food. Okay, get rid of all this. I don't like these little dangly bits. I'm a little distracted, so I'm cutting today too. All right. So I'm gonna need a left and a right, and I need one with the marking on it. Oh, really, Sherry? These are just Vans. When I was a kid, Vans were made like I grew up in Orange County, California, and like next to Disneyland. And we would go to the Vans factory, and they were made there. Really made an impression on me. Going to the factory and seeing things made a huge impression on me. I loved it. Didn't like the smell. The smell there was terrible, like the rubber from the shoes. Yeah, right? Right there with you. Okay. So I'm going to mark the box on 2 of these. I need to think about this before. I don't want to just run and do this. So I'll do this. You'll see it when I go to sew it, though. So don't worry. Okay. Some of that stuff I like to do when my head is wrapped around what I'm about to sew. So I just kind of let myself off the hook. There's a cricket! Oh my god! What the heck? I'm so excited! There's a cricket! And look, it actually looks like a cricket. Maybe it's a grasshopper, but it looks like a cricket. I just have these 2 pieces. Is there a cricket at this end better, closer? Where's the cricket? It was near these guys, right? Above these guys, though. Lost it. I like the 2 little bullfrogs. They've been coming back to our pond now. What the heck? Where are they? They are near these palm trees. A Bogavlab cricket. Oh, do I miss anything about OC? I liked living there and growing up there. Okay, so the cricket's way down here. I still don't see it, but it's by this tree, right? Do you guys see it? Where is it? Well, there it is right there. All right, so I'll just pick this one down here. Do I miss anything? Oh, it's been so long. I miss good Mexican food, honestly. God, boy, do I miss really good Mexican food. I'm just going to cheat right there on that seam allowance just to get it a little bit centered. My daughter's name is Cricket. That's why I'm all excited. In case you guys didn't know that. It's not her real name, but that's what she's pretty much gone by her whole life. In fact, she just had to take a check back to someone because they wrote it out to Cricket. And it's the one thing we never did with her bank account. We didn't make it to Cricket because it's not legal. I liked OC. I mean, I wouldn't live there now. I'm definitely more interested in rural. Okay, so Michelle, that's so funny about that you say that because do you have kids? I don't know anything about you guys, but if you have kids, I love that both Michelles are talking right now, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Who's who? So when Cricket was growing up and 4th of July would roll around, I would just be, she's like, oh, fireworks, and I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. It took me a while to realize, like, all the other parents were into it, and in Humboldt on the bay, you can go out on a kayak, and they'll launch the fireworks over the bay, and you're out in a kayak. It's pretty cool. Even if it's overcast, the fireworks are actually low enough under the clouds, but when it's not overcast, it's gorgeous. So I realized that my total dismissal of fireworks is because I grew up there and I was used to them. They were just so blasé to me and nothing's ever come close. I'm not like really big into them, and I realized, oh, it's because I grew up and you see them every night. You hear them as you're falling asleep as a kid. They always went on at 9 o'clock. So... oh gosh, Ray's planning her custody future. She wants those boys to cook for her too. Yeah, so yeah, I think those fireworks kind of ruined me. Ooh, look at all this fabric. dog. Yeah, and like I would even be like, oh, you guys can go. I'm just gonna stay home. I'm the worst mom ever. Worst mom ever. Yeah, you don't realize things shape you. Just don't. And now she's not as into them, but there was a few years there because her friends would be so excited about it. She would get really excited about it too, and I would feel really bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've totally slacked on this whole aspect of her childhood. I really need to like get her out there doing it. My other funny firework memory from when she was a kid was one summer I got sick. You know how you never get really sick in summertime? And I did. I got really sick for some weird reason. And it was 4th of July. And I was laying on the couch all day. And there was a Alfred Hitchcock series on. And it was the first time. I've seen a lot of Alfred Hitchcock. And my stepdad, he really likes Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock. So I watched a lot with him too. Like we both liked it. Little Rascals, all those shows. I really watched a lot of that when I was younger. Like my stepdad's been in my life since I was like 9 or 10 or 12 or something. 10, 11, something like that. A long time. And there was this series, or this like AMC used to be so good, and they had the Alfred Hitchcock series, and The Birds came on. I'd actually never seen The Birds. Well, then that, you know, it started getting kind of dark. It started actually really late. No, it wasn't getting dark. It gets dark really late in Humboldt. So fireworks are done kind of early for little kids. And she was pretty little. She was like 5. And so we were just doing them in the front of the house. And our neighbor came over. They were like, oh, this is so cute. Our kids are grown. So they would come and kind of enjoy all the little kid things, you know. Like when she learned to ride a bike, they watched her do that. Because their kids were just like all in their 20s and they just liked it. And there every day these crows would hang out on the telephone wires right there because there's this big park across the street from us, and they were all in front of our house, and I was really freaked out. And I think it was partly because I was kind of had a fever, and you know, fireworks were going off and these birds were everywhere, and I will never forget that either. It's my other fireworks thing. So, so funny. That movie really did freak me out a little bit. And I'm not afraid of birds at all. I had chickens, you know. So anyway. Oh, okay. All right, so we have our whole Kelly Anorak all cut out. We're ready to go. Oh, I didn't cut my welts. Here's my pocket flaps, too. Let's keep all our pocket flaps together. Oh, I'm so excited. I got an egret and a crooked. Oh, and I got little manatees. Nice. I need to cut my welts out. Oops, these are upside down. Is this big enough? For one. There must be. There we go. All right. Now I've got it all. And we have all the hardware, the otter wax. This is what it looks like. Smells like nothing. Right, Sherry? I know. Yeah, I don't know what it was about those. Why? They were actually, those birds were actually acting just like the ones in the movie. The crows were always there. My mom used to love visiting me because there were just so many crows there. And they hung out at the park there, and they had this whole little thing, you know. It was cute. But, so here's my, let's open this stuff up. Here's my draw cord. Navy, and then there are the poles. Yeah, okay. I just had this little, like, I was all of a sudden thinking there's draw cord in the hood, and there's not. Right, Michelle? I think it's because they're so slick, you know, their coats are oily and they're like water repellent. So yeah, here's the little cord locks, and then these are the decorative tips for the cord itself. They have to make it permanent, yeah. These are all the snaps. I'll keep those in there. And then there's grommets as well. And then these are the tools. So I have the setting tool for either. You don't have to, I got this from Maker's Fabric. They even sent me a little label. I never had heard of these people or ordered from them, but they had the hardware in stock, so I bought it, and I got it like that. And I got the matching zipper. So all this stuff came from them. They don't sponsor me or anything. But I was really appreciative that they had it all. Fjallraven-esque winter jacket. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you are, Zach. I don't think you have to worry about that. What's that? Oh, Michelle, thanks. That's nice of you. That's thank you. I should shout out a few people that have signed up from Patreon lately, so I really appreciate that. And it doesn't show up in my mini feed anymore, but I really appreciate the Patreon love, and I'll make sure that I take care of you guys during the transition and stuff. So Zach, the reason I am lining this is so that the wax isn't against my skin. Like if I was wearing short sleeves in my raincoat, which I tend to sometimes do even. So, because, you know, sometimes it just rains. So you probably don't have to worry about that. You can look at their site, Otterwax's site. I'm glad, Michelle. I wasn't sure that was you today. I didn't want to assume. But because of all the Twitch stuff, I thought that was you. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so Zach, I would check it out. Or even just check, if you're on Instagram, check out their Instagram, because they just buy jackets and wax them. And some of them are fully insulated. And then, you know, to clean your wax coat, you're going to brush it, you know, get the dirt and stuff off, and then you can re-wax it. So there's two styles. There's this bar, and then there's this, like, a tub. Well, it doesn't say Michelle's son. It says Michelle R. I don't know. And then they have this stuff, like, in a tub that you can paint on. And I thought, oh, that's definitely what I'd want, because it'll get, like, really good saturation. And it's not, and I can't remember the specifics, but I would look at it, and I would also look at the fibers that are most compatible with the wax before you jump into anything. This is beeswax. Could be a bee bar instead on an otter bar, huh? Oh, that's funny. That's kind of a funny thing. I just thought it was called otter bar. Otter bar is actually a really popular kayaking, whitewater kayaking spot. It's actually otter wax, not otter bar. So yeah, it likes to be used on natural fibers, but there is some percentage of synthetics that you could do. Yeah, cotton canvas would be perfect. I think it would be perfect. In fact, I have some canvas. Well, I have this. Like, I bought some wax canvas, and you can't even really see in this tiny little piece, but it's super stiff. And what I like about this is I think it's going to be a little softer and lighter weight. So, look at that. You can sculpt this. You're going to see what I made this into soon, because it's going to be part of that little series I mentioned earlier about this project I'm doing. and I think it might be live today. I was about to do it yesterday, but I gave notice to my landlord, and then my internet died, and I was like, oh no, he's punishing me. But they were getting a new server next door, and I didn't have the guts to text and say, is the internet down? But the video is ready. I just need to process it and then upload it. Uploading is quick. It's the processing that takes a little while. It has to export it into the YouTube format. But it'll be about. So if you're a bag maker or a sewn products maker, you might like this little series. It's going to cover everything on having a sewn product. And I'm going to go into the finances and the costing of that in depth. I wanted to make this into a class, but I never wanted to charge for it. I'm really passionate about domestic manufacturing, and this is my way of hoping that it enables people. I know, right, Michelle? I know. It was so funny. I saw it was red, the text, and then I was like, oh my God, okay. So I knew he wouldn't do that, but and then this guy came over. He was like, oh, I did not know there was someone using the internet here. I'm really sorry. I'm putting in a server. He's really nice. So I don't know what they're doing over there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home. But if you could have that up by the time I stream tomorrow, and it went down today at 10:21 again, I was like, oh no, okay, I'm gonna need to go ask. So he was like, no, it should be back, and it was back right when I was sitting there. It's fine. My internet's amazing, but they just forget I'm here sometimes, and they make changes, and then they're like, oh, sorry about that. You were in the middle of streaming. Oh, sorry. So, all right. Well, what a stream. Thanks, you guys all took my news really well, and maybe something will change. Don't write me off too quickly. You're still not going to see the end of me. I'll still be uploading, and I do plan on even doing uploaded projects this year. So if you've ever wanted a nice edited down project with none of my chit chat about my great aunt Tessie, your day is coming. So yeah, and I think this is pretty affordable. This is going to do my whole jacket. And I do not believe it, but apparently it is. And I was going to... Let's do a test. I want to do a test. My glasses are driving me really crazy. Let's do a test. Why not, right? I didn't want to cut into my fabric until I knew it was... My thing was cut out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and... You love the chit chat? Not everybody does. And I understand that. Oh, that's great. You want your great Aunt Tessie too? Okay. So I'm pretty sure back and forth motion to create friction. Smooth out evenly with fingers to create a uniform seal. Allow item to cure in a warm, dry place for at least 24 hours. Reapply as often as necessary to maintain waterproof seal. Okay. You just bought a bar! Nice. That's some dab kits. Oh, cool. So I usually just see people doing this. I think when you're doing it on a bigger surface, it'll be easier to do the back and forth. I don't feel like one bar is going to do it. I'm nervous about that. My nail just chipped off a piece. That wasn't the bar, it was me. So you can see why I was a little nervous about adding like the seams on the back. Like of the yoke. I wanted to have as few seams as possible. Am I making the camera move? Sorry guys. I am probably. Yeah, right? Andrea's so great. Man, she was like streaming up a storm in December. I caught her a few of her. It was kind of fun. Like she'd be on at like 8 a.m. when I was in bed. 8 a.m. my time. This has a smell to it. And it's very, very familiar, but it does not smell like beeswax. Mega flammable? Why? Why is it mega flammable? So one of my things is I've been wondering is this linen open weave enough that I'm gonna have to really give it a good thorough rub down with the wax, because maybe those little things will go in the cracks. So we'll do this, and then I will let it cure, and then Saturday let's throw some water on it and see how it does. Because maybe I'll end up with just a fancy line jacket if it doesn't work good. Oh, you did, Ray? Good for you. I didn't chat a lot in the stream. I always feel like weird chatting in other live streamers' chats. I don't want it to seem like I'm self-promoting. Oh, caught one where? And did it light on fire? Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, well, paraffin. Yeah, is it meant for that? Where'd you get this stuff? So one thing I'm noticing is that at first the fabric looked like it was getting a little stretched out, but it's not. It looks pretty much the same. This is when my nail nicked it, these little chunks here. So here, I'm gonna press it in here. I do feel like that's, I can definitely see parts of it that aren't in the wax. It feels like it's really gooping on there, but I don't think it is. The back still feels pretty just cotton linen-y. Oh, dang, Allison. Interesting. I like their fabrics a lot. They get a really good selection. I'm immortalizing this thread. I already know I gotta do this here, not at my house, so hopefully I'm not moved out by the time I'm doing this, because there's too much pug hair at my house. So right now it feels a little bit tacky, see? And I'm hoping when it cures, it's not going to be like that. All right, I'm going to stop there and see. I don't want to overdo it, and I want to know how much it's going to take. The otter wax is 100% beeswax. Wax is not the fuel in the candle. The wick is. Okay. What is this, a thread? Oh yeah, it is a thread. Cool, and then I doubt you can see the back. There's some, maybe you can see, oops. Can you see some of my little stripes that I got going through? This is the back of the fabric. This is the front. That doesn't look quite accurate, but cool. Well, we'll try that out. It's on my fingers a little bit. It feels different. Like, I've used cocoa butter in the past, not for this. I've used it. Yeah, me too, Ray. Not campfire songs. Alright, let's put it back in the box. Maybe it will do a whole jacket. Cool. Well, I'm excited. Oh, it says no petroleum, no silicone, non-toxic. Waxed fabric. Long-lasting water repellency. There you go. A little free advertising for outer wax. Oh, so it says it's made of highest quality beeswax and our proprietary blend of plant-based waxes and oils for a long-lasting waterproof seal. The wax is the fuel? What? Nuh-uh. It burns the wax? I thought it was just the wick. Oh, I'm so silly. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I'm so wrong. But you can make beeswax candles. So do you think this is flammable? Let's be honest, you guys. The linen was flammable too. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to be out in the rain in this, not out in a fire. Exactly. All right, I totally learned something. I've always thought the wax was like a way to insulate the flame so that it wouldn't, like, the wick doesn't burn. Oh my God. Are you guys Googling this and learning this right now too? Or did you already know this? I just always thought that the wax was preventing the flame from going anywhere else. Because the candle never lights on fire. The wax never... Exactly. It has a bad day indeed. The wick absorbs the liquid wax and the wax vapors burn. Yeah, because the surface of a candle never lights on fire either. Perspective, right, Zach? Perspective. You just know lots of random trivia. Well, I enjoy a person who knows lots of random trivia. I know lots of random stories that I can barely finish, and I forget the ends too. Yeah. Okay. Put this boring paper on the screen here. We could look at this nice fabric. I'm gonna make a candle. Okay. Oh, really, Elena? God, you guys are amazing. I love all the things I learned from you guys. It's really cool. Oh, but now I'm hungry. I'm gonna go. So I'll see you Saturday, and we'll start sewing. And like I said, I'm gonna try and keep this into 2-hour-long chunks. So I actually don't know how many parts this will be in. And I'll try and keep it at a good pace so that we're making some progress. And if anyone else out there wants to sew along, you can probably keep up. Because even if you can't sew while I'm sewing, you can get caught up by the time I'm to the next part. So, Ray. Why are you asking me that? Yeah, my old videos for now will stay, Terry. Nothing's going to change. I'm going to still upload videos and stuff. And maybe there'll be a way for me to stream. I don't know. I was talking. Didn't want to talk about this in front of a lot of people because I didn't want everyone to start going. Not you guys, but like people in real life. I don't know. Not that I see very many people, but I didn't want there to be this whole like, but you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. When I thought about a lot of things. 100 a day, 5 days a week, right? Basically. I am for hire. I am at large. Isn't that a weird expression? Sarah Me Duffy. Sewist at large. I don't want to be at large. Chat, figure it out. Go! Yeah, and it's like, so a lot of the other things I've thought about are, do I sink all my efforts into making more patterns because I'm a trained pattern drafter, but then, and I thought about like very seriously making my own pattern line of clothes, of course, especially with my 50th birthday coming up this year. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool to do something like that, like launch these patterns? There's no way I could do that by then. But you guys, there's so many great patterns out there in the world already. There are so many great patterns out there. Really, it's just trying to figure out which ones are the ones that are going to work for you personally, and how to fit the things that don't work about something. And I'd much rather be that person helping people use what's out there. I don't need to be one more person out there making patterns. And I'm only one person, so doing a pattern line, I would never be able to do it to the degree that I would want to, with the fit models and all that stuff, you know, like I have the pattern skills and all that, but I don't really have the time to be 10 people. So I would really like to share that. I just want to be a public service. That's really what I want. I want to be a public service for people, and I want to empower them to feel confident sewing and get over the hump with whatever they are. That's what I want. The sewing cheerleader. Use your seam ripper. There's no shame in using your seam ripper. It's just a freaking tool. I love all the people that have said, I use my seam ripper without shame because of you. I'm like, yeah, good. It's just a tool. Just like a sewing machine. You don't think about the claw end of a hammer. You don't have any shame using the claw end of a hammer, do you? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's really a way to come up with that kind of reliable income very quickly. So it's okay. It'll lead to other things, right? We're open to possibilities. And someday we all will be meeting in person, right? Someday we're going to be on the other side of a pandemic and we'll be traveling again someday, and that's awesome. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome. So, and we'll do in-person things, and maybe I'll get to teach at places, and yeah. So I think that that's like, it's not the end of anything. It's just different. It's going to be different. So, okay. Are you guys okay? I'll see you guys Saturday. You guys can think about things and we'll talk about it again. So, have a good rest of your week, all right, you guys? And I will see you guys really soon. I can't wait to sew this. This is already getting a little less tacky. So,